The main character is Zhang Hao. Let me tell you a bit about him. He's a direct, confident guy who hangs out with his buddies every evening after work, drinking and hitting on women without a second thought. But something feels completely wrong to him now, like he's in the middle of the wrong kind of story. He starts wondering what's going on. Is this some strange dream, a gender swap situation? He remembers that after a stressful day at work, everything felt overwhelming. Then suddenly, everything turned red. The entire city seemed to vanish without a trace. When he regained consciousness, he found himself in the body of a young, handsome boy. However, all his original memories were still intact. Suddenly, someone knocks on his door. It's his father, asking why he's still not awake. His dad reminds him about plans to go shopping with someone named Long Long and says he's heading out to buy groceries. They're supposed to have dinner later with Aunt Chung. His father also tells him to take better care of himself since he's a boy and suggests he learn to apply makeup. Maybe Long Long can help. Zhang Hao is totally confused. Makeup, who even is Long Long? Why is he called Hao Hao now? And why is there so much cute stuff around him? Then his phone rings. Someone is yelling for Hao Hao to open the door. He wonders if it's his old buddy Long from his past life, a tough guy with tattoos who loved beer nights. He quickly changes out of the cutesy clothes and runs to the door. But the person outside isn't his bro. It's a blonde guy, complaining about being kept waiting and saying creepy girls could have targeted him. Zhang Hao is confused and asks where Long Long is. But then his dad responds and says that Long Long is already there. His father praises Long Long's fashion sense and tells Zhang Hao he should learn from him. He even criticizes Zhang Hao's dry skin and says he needs to pay more attention to skincare. Zhang Hao is in shock. Makeup, skincare, what kind of world is this? Just then some memories hit him. The person who used to live in this body had experienced life in a totally different world. In this place, gender roles are flipped. Since ancient times, all the empires have been ruled by women. Men stay at home, take care of the kids, and are physically weaker, with less stamina and power. All Zhang Hao wants is to understand how he ended up in this strange world. Later, while walking through the city, Long Long excitedly suggests getting their nails done and buying some facial masks. He also warns Zhang Hao to carry pepper spray because female gangs in the city are becoming more aggressive. Zhang Hao loses it. He tells Long Long to stop acting so cute and says if he wants a face mask, he can go buy it himself. Zhang Hao drags him to a tattoo studio, determined to reclaim his masculinity. He storms in and demands a fierce tattoo, maybe a dragon or a mafia-style design. But the girls in the shop stop him, saying tattoos are for women and a man should only get one if he's a troublemaker. Zhang Hao takes off his shirt, refusing to be talked down to. When the girls see him shirtless, they whistle and say they'll pay if he keeps going. Still, he insists on a tattoo of a blue dragon, a phoenix, and a white tiger. Long Long yells at him to stop, calling his behavior inappropriate. Later, back at home, Zhang Hao feels like the day keeps getting worse. But then the most attractive stepsister he's ever seen walks in. Without thinking, he enters her room, then quickly runs out, embarrassed. That evening at dinner, his dad explains that Aunt John and Chin Chin will be staying at their house for a while. Zhang Hao suddenly realized that in this world, his dad had remarried. His stepmother was Zhang Yan, and his stepsister was Zhang Kaiankin. In just a few days, they would all be moving into a big house together. Chin Chin, however, won't stop staring at him. Back in his room, he feels exhausted. His body is really weak because the previous owner never exercised. He imagines himself all dolled up in makeup and pretty clothes and gets frustrated. He couldn't even get a tattoo today. He's stuck in a world where women rule and the people he knew, his dad, his brother, are completely different now. If everything is reversed, does that mean he has to act feminine too? He yells that he'll never do it and throws a teddy bear in frustration. But then he notices the bear looks tiny compared to his sister's, 2 giant plush spheres. He apologizes, but then Chin Chin storms in without hesitation and throws him onto the floor. She pulls him in close, saying she missed him. He has no idea how to respond. She notices his face turning red and asks if he's feeling sick. Maybe she should check. Zhang Hao, with a blank stare, weakly says that he's fine. Later that night, someone yells at him to wake up. His eyes are still half closed. He sees another one of those curvy, dangerous-looking women standing next to his bed. He panics and asks who she is. She looks at him and seems surprised that he doesn't recognize her. Then she grabs his chin and explains that she's the one who brought him into this strange world. Zhang Hao starts to remember that red moon from before. It felt just like this moment. So he realizes it really was her. He demands to know why she brought him here and what he ever did to deserve this. She tells him she is the goddess of the blood moon. She had heard his complaints, especially the ones about still being a virgin in his old world. In this new place, she says, there are plenty of women who would happily wear him out. But he doesn't care about that. He just wants to go home. He says there's not one normal woman here, and he begs her to send him back. She stares at him, clearly annoyed. She calls him ungrateful and tells him there is one way out. If he completes a task, she will let him return. He asks what the task is. She reminds him of all the things he used to say in the old world. He wanted to be a real man, lift weights, and live by those ideals. The task is simple: become a true man in this reversed world. If he manages to do that, he might find a way back. But if he fails, he will have no choice but to fully adjust to life here. He asks if that means he'll turn into some kind of womanizer. She just shrugs and says maybe, but questions if that would really be so bad. Then she disappears, telling him to give this world a fair shot. He could actually enjoy it every single day if he wanted to. The next morning, he wakes up thinking it was all just a strange dream. But when he looks around and sees his surroundings, he realizes it wasn't a dream at all. As he gets dressed, he thinks about everything that's happened. He isn't sure how he feels, but one thing is clear: he looks way too good-looking to be a guy. He decides he needs to start learning more about how this place works. After going through a bunch of newspapers and articles, he can't believe what he's reading. A 20-year-old male college student got sued because he refused to marry a rich farm girl. Another guy got sentenced for killing his wife. Everything is completely flipped, even the criminal justice system. But that's not the worst of it. This world has a scientific way to check if a guy is still a virgin. Apparently, men here are just too delicate. Their bodies are similar to how women were in his original world. They even have something like male menstruation. This whole place feels like a nightmare to him. He wonders if there's any other way back. Besides talking to that red moon goddess again, maybe he could figure out exactly what happened that night when he arrived. If he could recreate the event, he might be able to go home. But then reality hits. How is he supposed to do that? He's just a broke high school student. He doesn't know anyone important. Frustrated, he decides to set the plan aside for now. Just then, someone calls out to him. His stepsister comes in and asks if he's coming to eat her delicious breakfast. He blinks, still trying to process everything. Breakfast does sound nice, though. As he heads out to eat, he admits to himself that maybe, just maybe, this world isn't all bad after all. The chapter begins with Zhang Hao getting ready for school. He looks at himself in the mirror and admits that his face is actually kind of attractive, but still way too soft-looking for his liking. Today is going to be his first day going to school in this strange new world. The thought of returning to school brings up all kinds of mixed feelings. When he goes to the kitchen, he sees something that makes him uncomfortable. His stepmother is playfully smacking his father's backside. Not wanting to stick around for any of that, Zhang Hao quickly leaves the house. On the way to school, he's joined by his ever-lively best friend, Long Long. Long Long shows off a new lipstick color, asking Zhang Hao what he thinks. But Zhang Hao brushes him off with a cold response. Long Long seems shocked and asks what's wrong with him. He reminds Zhang Hao that they used to do this all the time, and now he's acting so different. Zhang Hao tells him that his idea of being a man is completely different now. He says he wants to be a real man, a confident, strong guy. But Long Long looks worried and says that if Zhang Hao keeps thinking like that, no one will want to marry him. That annoys Zhang Hao. He demands to know what Long Long means by that. But before things escalate, Long Long points out that someone is staring at them. Zhang Hao glances over and sees a girl who looks rough and edgy, definitely not someone he'd be afraid of. He jokes that two grown guys like them shouldn't be scared of someone like her. If she tried anything, he'd treat her the same as anyone else. To him, fairness means treating everyone equally. Long Long starts panicking and tells him to stop saying ridiculous things. He reminds Zhang Hao that he's weak now. He couldn't even lift a single brick. Zhang Hao refuses to believe that. Back in his old life, he used to hit the gym regularly and even joined a martial arts club. Without waiting, he grabs Long Long and starts running towards school. Long Long groans, complaining that he hates running, and now his makeup will need a full redo. Zhang Hao wonders why they're even running, and more importantly, why his body feels so weak. Eventually, they arrive at Elysium Business School, a private school that his current family can afford thanks to their wealth. Even here, it's clear how different this world is. Women are the strong ones now, and everything is reversed from what he once knew. Once inside the classroom, Zhang Hao watches a male student ask a girl to help him open a water bottle. Zhang Hao is stunned. Is this guy really unable to open a simple bottle? He grabs the bottle, determined to prove he still has some strength left. But the cap is much tighter than expected. He struggles, trying every bit of strength he has, but the bottle refuses to budge. His hand starts to ache, and in front of everyone, he gives up. Defeated, he quietly thinks about how far he's fallen. How can he call himself a man if he can't even open a bottle of water? The girl easily opens it afterward and gives it back to the other boy. Then more girls crowd around Zhang Hao, asking if he needs help too. One of them offers to open it for him, smiling sweetly. He sits down at his desk, too embarrassed to respond. A part of him wants to admit this world isn't so bad, but right now, he just feels completely humiliated. Long Long notices his mood and comments that he's been acting weird lately. But then he just laughs and adds that Zhang Hao must be suffering from emotional damage. The chapter begins with Zhang Hao walking down the school hallway. Long Long tries to keep up and suggests they go to the restroom together. Zhang Hao simply speeds up and says he can go by himself. As he walks, girls in the hallway start whispering to each other. They admire how smooth his skin looks, how perfect and soft his figure is, and how cute his appearance is overall. Some even talk about wanting to touch him. Zhang Hao feels awkward. Now he understands what it's like to be on the receiving end of unwanted attention. It hits him, he needs to do something about how physically weak he is. He wants to train and get stronger. He pulls out his phone and searches for beginner classes in Muay Thai. One place looks promising. He figures it might help, but strength alone isn't enough. To become a real tough guy, he also needs mental toughness. Being a true alpha male isn't just about muscles, it's a mindset. He tells himself that someone needs to step up and carry the weight, and that someone will be him. Just then, a classmate named Yuan Yuan appears out of nowhere and startles him. He's surprised by how quietly she snuck up behind him. She explains that she had been calling his name, but he was too focused on his phone to notice. Suddenly, she steps in way too close and asks if he's doing anything shady, like talking to another girl. He panics and insists that he would never do that. He claims to be old-fashioned and says men and women shouldn't get too close in public. But she doesn't back off. She grabs his hand and compliments how soft and beautiful they are. Zhang Hao thinks to himself that these girls are way too forward in this world. He tries to remind her to act more modestly. She points out that he's not behaving like usual today. She guesses maybe he hasn't been sleeping well. She says she knows a special way to help, offering to give him a massage. Before he can react, she moves in to touch him again. He tries to resist, but she's too strong. He can't even push her away. Just when he feels completely overwhelmed, the teacher enters the room and tells everyone to get back to their seats. It's time for class. The English teacher, Miss Madding, starts the lesson. Zhang Hao reads the book and is surprised to find that he understands everything easily, even though in his old life he had already graduated long ago. At least in this version of the world, he's a top-performing student. He looks at the teacher confidently, ready to answer anything. But instead of asking him a question from the book, she adjusts her glasses and asks if he's feeling all right. Maybe he's overheated and should visit the nurse's office. Zhang Hao is confused and tells her he feels perfectly fine. The girls in class start whispering again, saying that he's definitely acting strange today. At that point, Zhang Hao gives up on trying to figure it all out. He decides to just go with the flow and do whatever he feels like from now on. Zhang Hao walks down the school path with Long Long, who notices something's off. Long Long asks if he's okay, saying he looks completely drained. Zhang Hao replies that he's beyond tired, not just physically, his mind is worn out. Suddenly, a girl carrying 3 basketballs skips up to him, bragging about how she just nailed a 3-point shot. Zhang Hao stares in disbelief, unsure how to react. As they head downstairs, a random guy throws himself onto the floor and starts blaming Zhang Hao, claiming he was pushed. Zhang Hao is stunned. He realizes that being popular with girls is one thing, but getting blamed for nonsense and having people grab him is taking it too far. He silently curses this reversed world and just wishes he could go back to the old Earth. Then another girl approaches him out of nowhere. She confesses that she has liked him since they met and asks him out. Zhang Hao mentally groans. This is exactly why he can't stand this world. He tells her he's not interested in dating right now. His mental state is falling apart. He walks away while Long Long trails behind, sounding jealous. Long Long points out that Zhang Hao has already received 20 love confessions today and says he doesn't want to be a popular boy like that. But Zhang Hao just wants to change the topic and suggests they get some food. In the cafeteria line, Zhang Hao thinks about what to order. He looks at the other boys' trays and notices how small the portions are. He asks Long Long why everyone is eating so little. Long Long explains that guys in this world have to eat light or they'll gain weight. He then steps forward and orders only salad and some fried vegetables. Zhang Hao is confused. He warns Long Long that he's going to faint in the afternoon at this rate. But Long Long insists he's just trying to lose a bit of weight. That's when Zhang Hao has a realization. The nutritional needs for men in this world must be totally different. He mentally puts together a plan. First, he's going to start exercising. Then he'll ask Long Long to help train him. Next, he plans to get rid of all the girly clothes. Finally, he wants to stop looking like a pretty boy and become a real man. With new resolve, he runs to the counter and demands a full meal. Pork, steak, rice, big portions. He wants everything on the menu. A proper feast. Long Long watches in shock, warning him he'll get fat. But Zhang Hao replies that real men eat to fuel their training. Long Long wouldn't understand. Around them, the cafeteria goes quiet. Everyone stares. Whispers spread. Students are puzzled. Why is he eating so much? Is he just trying to show off? Then Liu Feng shows up and mocks him, saying he eats like a desperate foreign laborer. Zhang Hao turns to him and calmly asks who he even is. Liu Feng says they studied together. Then he throws another jab, suggesting Zhang Hao has gained so much weight it's affecting his brain. Zhang Hao stays calm but calls him out, first for insulting hardworking immigrants, then for shamming people for their weight. He tells Liu Feng that he's being offensive on all fronts, classist and fatphobic. Liu Feng stumbles back and begins to cry, saying he didn't mean it that way. He claims he was only looking out for Zhang Hao. A few girls nearby quickly take Liu Feng's side, asking why Zhang Hao made him cry. They say it was too harsh. The mood turns against him, and public opinion starts to shift. But just then, another girl speaks up. She says how much Zhang Hao eats is his own business. If people are saying boys can't eat a lot, that's just discrimination. She turns to him kindly, saying he must be really hungry today, and if he needs more, she's happy to help. Zhang Hao is caught off guard and pauses. He begins to think. Zhang Hao looks at the girl in front of him. He admits she's pretty. But then Liu Feng suddenly shouts their names, Zhao Wang and Zhang Hao. Without missing a beat, Zhang Hao cuts him off and tells him to either say something useful or leave him alone so he can eat in peace. He jokingly refers to himself as master while telling Liu Feng to go. Long Long tilts his head in confusion and asks why Zhang Hao is calling himself master. It doesn't really make any sense, but Zhao Wang finds it charming. She says it makes him more attractive, like a fierce little wildcat. Liu Feng storms off, muttering about how they're all shameless. Meanwhile, Jiayun offers Zhang Hao more food, saying he seems to have all the time in the world to eat. Zhang Hao quietly asks Long Long who this girl is. Long Long replies in disbelief, wondering if Zhang Hao hit his head. That Zhao Wang, she's had a crush on him for a long time. Then Zhao Wang turns to Long Long and brings up a game she introduced him to, League of Legends. She asks if he's tried it yet. Long Long hesitates and says it's too complicated. He adds that boys aren't suited to play such games and that something like Candy Crush would be better. Zhang Hao jumps in. He knows exactly what kind of game League of Legends is. It's a 5 versus 5 multiplayer online battle arena with player versus player gameplay. Long Long is stunned. He says Zhang Hao once claimed games were only for girls. Zhang Hao pushes back, asking why only girls play games in this world and how that even makes sense. Jiayun clarifies that boys do play games here. They're just not as skilled as girls at the professional level, but she invites Zhang Hao to play with her sometime. Zhang Hao stands up and casually says he usually plays support or jungle. Then he announces he's heading back to the classroom. They leave together. Zhao Wang sighs, watching them go, wondering when Zhang Hao will ever notice her feelings. Back in class, Zhang Hao sits down and starts thinking. There are no pro players like Dasher or Uzi here, but are the girls really that skilled in this world? Maybe the competitive level isn't the same. He decides he needs to watch a match and see for himself. Then something catches his eye. He sees a quiet girl sitting alone by the window. He asks Long Long who she is. Long Long tells him her name is Manhua. She's a transfer student. Then Long Long shyly asks if Zhang Hao is interested in her. Zhang Hao admits that she's attractive, but she doesn't say much, so it's hard to tell. Without waiting, he grabs Long Long and says they should talk to her. Long Long hesitates, saying it's supposed to be the girl's role to make the first move. Zhang Hao shakes his head and says that, outdated thinking. Now guys need to step up. He walks over and introduces himself as Zhang Hao and also introduces Long. Normally, girls would rush to be around him. But Min Yuehua just looks at them with no reaction at all. Zhang Hao becomes curious. What's her story? He nudges Long Long to say something. Long Long awkwardly asks how she's doing. She simply replies that she's fine. Zhang Hao notices a book in her hands and asks if she's reading a novel. Long Long tries to stop him, saying she probably doesn't want to talk, but Zhang Hao keeps going. He says his friend thinks she doesn't want to speak with them. She replies calmly that she has no opinion on that. Zhang Hao guesses she might just be shy or introverted. He stretches out his hand and says that if she ever wants to talk, they can be friends. After a short pause, she agrees. Zhang Hao smiles. This, he thinks, might be the start of his journey to becoming a real man in this world. Just then, Yan Yuan arrives. She questions why Zhang Hao is bothering a transfer student. That gives Zhang Hao an idea. He thanks Yan Yuan in his mind and turns back to Min Yuehua. He asks if she wants to be friends with this girl. Min Yuehua hesitates and clearly doesn't want to, but Zhang Hao gently encourages her. After a moment, she says yes, she would like that. As Zhang Hao returns to his seat, Min Yuehua quietly thanks him. Zhang Hao looks back at her and smiles. Back at home, Zhang Hao is lying on his bed, headphones on, listening to intense Sigma male music. A rock and roll track starts playing. Suddenly, his stepsister walks into the room. She asks what he's doing there. Zhang Hao answers casually, saying he's just listening to some music, and asks if she needs something. She steps closer and asks if something is bothering him. Zhang Hao brushes it off and says it's nothing. But she keeps moving closer and asks if she can listen too. He starts to panic. She comments that he seems to like rock music. That must mean he's different from other boys. But being different, she says, isn't such a bad thing. As she leans in even more, Zhang Hao's mind goes into full overload. He wonders what he's supposed to do now. What would a real man do in this situation? Then in his imagination, two voices appear, like an angel and a demon sitting on his shoulders. The angel tells him to stay strong. The Sigma path means resisting temptation, but the demon argues otherwise. Forget being a Sigma. A real top-tier alpha should take what's offered. In a moment of sheer panic and confusion, Zhang Hao grabs her by the shoulders and tosses her onto the bed. She looks at him in shock and asks if he meant to hug her. He's sweating, trying to gain control of himself. He tells her he can't hold back anymore. Suddenly, a strange memory flashes in his mind, something about belonging to someone, a voice saying she'll find him no matter where he goes. He's startled and steps back, trying to figure out where the memory came from. Why did it feel so real? His sister, now concerned, walks up and places her hands on his shoulders. She asks if he's sick because he looks really pale. He shakes it off and says he just needs some rest. Then he changes the subject, asking if he would look better with a shorter hairstyle. Still flustered, she tells him she'd look good no matter what. Then Zhang Hao thinks to himself, something feels off. Is it just him, or is there something weird about his sister and this goddess from before? He comes to a conclusion. No doubt about it, he must be cursed. And now he's even more determined to ditch this weak, beta male identity. He makes up his mind. Time to change everything, starting with his appearance. He heads to a hair salon. The attendant greets him warmly and compliments his already beautiful looks, saying she'll bring out their best hairdresser just for him. But Zhang Hao insists he's just there for a haircut, nothing special. Soon, the hairdresser arrives and looks him over. She asks what kind of style he wants. Zhang Hao says he doesn't care, as long as it's short. He tells his to do whatever he wants. It doesn't have to look cute or perfect. The hairdresser is confused. He's never had a customer who didn't want to look prettier. He thinks it over, then smiles. He guesses he probably wants the opposite look. He jokes about it, saying maybe he secretly wants to look even more attractive. Finally, after a long session, he announces he's done and spins the chair around. Zhang Hao looks in the mirror and is stunned. He did cut it short, but somehow he looks even cuter than before. He beams with pride and tells him there's no need to pay. All he wants is to take a photo to promote his work. But Zhang Hao quickly refuses. No photos, he'll pay the full price. He agrees and tells him to come back anytime. He needs help from a professional salon. As he steps out onto the street, Zhang Hao reflects. He admits that having some extra style and charisma isn't a bad thing. Maybe, just maybe, he can get used to this. Later that night, back at home, he stands in front of the mirror and inspects his new haircut. It doesn't exactly scream dominant male, but it's a start. He nods to himself, haircut complete. Now it's time to upgrade his wardrobe. He opens his closet and immediately frowns. All he sees are the same soft, cute outfits. Frustrated, he sighs. Why is this all I have? A little while later, Zhang Hao hears his father calling for him. He walks into the room and asks what's going on, but his father's expression changes the moment he sees him. He's clearly shocked and demands to know what happened to Zhang Hao's hair. Why did he cut it so short? Zhang Hao tries to explain. He says the long hair was bothering his eyes, and he just wanted a cleaner, easier look. But his father doesn't buy it. His tone turns sharp. He accuses Zhang Hao of trying to annoy him on purpose, says this must be some kind of joke. Before the situation gets worse, Chin Chin steps in. She smiles calmly and tells their dad to relax. She doesn't see anything wrong with the haircut. In fact, she says he looks even cuter this way, so there's no need to be upset. The tension drops. She turns to Zhang Hao and asks him to come to her room. She says she has something for him, a gift. Zhang Hao follows, curious. His thoughts are spinning. What is her room going to look like? Is it going to be some girly paradise, or something completely unexpected? When they get there, Chin Chin walks over to her desk, picks something up, and hands it to him. She says she bought it quickly, but hopes he'll like it. Zhang Hao opens the small box and is stunned. Inside is a pair of black diamond earrings. They look expensive, definitely not the kind of thing someone just hands out. She tells him not to worry. As long as he likes them, she's happy to buy him whatever he wants. Zhang Hao stares at the gift in disbelief. He starts wondering, did he just gain a new sister, or did he accidentally pick up a sugar mama? Later, alone in his room, Zhang Hao sits on his bed, still staring at the earrings. They sparkle in the light. He thinks about returning them, but then again, he's just a broke high school student in a completely flipped world. He decides to keep them. Just then, his phone buzzes. A message pops up from Long Long. Long Long excitedly shares that his latest novel just launched. It's already been signed for publication. The title, Soft and Cute Friend Boy vs. the Sassy CEO Boss Lady, A Tale of Forbidden Love. Zhang Hao raises an eyebrow. Seriously, this is what people read here. But then an idea hits him. That's it. He can write too. He could bring stories from his original world and publish them here. That might actually earn him some easy money. He starts brainstorming titles. Should he write about the return of a powerful super soldier? Maybe something like Solo Leveling. Or go bold and write something spicy like Overflow. Hours pass. He drafts, edits, and merges pieces from stories he remembers, shaping them into something fresh for this world. He leans back, proud of what he's created. He's going to call it, A Real Woman in a Patriarchal World. A new day begins at school. Zhang Hao checks his messages on his phone, and one catches his eye. It reads, "Congratulations, your novel has passed the web novel signing application. Please contact the editor in charge." His eyes light up. He's excited. Finally, he's going to earn some money in this world. He reflects for a moment. Writing a story every single day is tough, but if the reward is cash, it's worth it, especially when you've got nothing else. Feeling proud of himself, he decides to treat himself with something sweet. Ice cream sounds perfect. As he walks to the store, something about the place feels familiar. Then a memory hits him. He remembers the first time he met someone, her. At that time, he thought she was his senior. Her body had a petite frame, but somehow she gave off a powerful presence. He recalls her name, Ami. She was the daughter of Uncle Jin, the man who owned the small grocery store next to his house. May had always been cute, kind, and sweet. Zhang Hao remembers the day she protected him from something. After that, he kept visiting her family's shop, over and over again. One day, he built up the courage to confess. He told her he liked her, but her response shattered him. She said she preferred guys with muscles. Zhang Hao pauses in his thoughts and shakes his head. But now things are different. He's no longer the same skinny, shy guy. Now he looks sharp and confident. He tells himself, if I confess again, this time it will work. He steps into the store, energized by the thought of seeing her again. Inside, he hears someone nearby talking about ways to make money. And then he sees her. Ami appears from behind the counter, casually walking into view. Zhang Hao's heart skips a beat. He's stunned. She looks exactly the same, or at least almost. There's one big difference. He takes one look at her and thinks she's definitely been training. Her body is stronger, more defined. She's not just cute anymore, she's built. Then she looks at him and comments on his new hairstyle. Zhang Hao is so shocked that he literally stumbles and falls to the floor. She walks over, concerned, asking if he's okay and if he came to see her about something. But Zhang Hao, overwhelmed by emotion, shouts out to the sky in his mind. "Goddess, please bring back my sweet Ami." The chapter opens with Zhang Hao sitting in a chair. A cold slice of watermelon rests nearby. It looks like he had fainted earlier. He mumbles something softly, still half-conscious, mentioning Miss Ami. Suddenly, a firm hand grabs his shoulder. The pressure is so strong, the chair beneath him snaps and collapses. He jolts awake. She asks if he's all right, clearly worried. But Zhang Hao springs up, quickly flipping backward with some flashy moves to create distance. He insists he's totally fine and says he's heading out. As she tries to hand him her phone number, he panics internally. His thoughts are racing. Even this small, delicate girl from his past has turned into a powerhouse. He's convinced he needs to sign up for that Muay Thai class immediately. And not just that, he still has to buy gifts for his sister, and his wardrobe seriously needs a full reset. He groans in frustration. No matter the world, money is always the biggest problem. Then a familiar voice calls out. He turns and freezes. It's Chin Chin. She's practicing yoga, holding a graceful pose. He asks if she's seriously doing yoga. She nods and says she just wanted to try a few exercises, ones that boys used to do. Zhang Hao stares. In this world, boys are the ones who did yoga. What kind of world is this? As she walks toward him, he pulls back slightly and jokes about keeping her hands to herself. But Chin Chin gives him some advice. She says he needs to get stronger, or he'll keep getting bullied at school. That stings. He can feel the burn of embarrassment deep down. To her, he looks weak, and that's something he can't accept. With determination in his voice, he challenges her to an arm wrestling match. She agrees. He raises the stakes. The loser has to do one thing for the winner, no questions asked. She nods again, and they lock hands. The match begins. Zhang Hao focuses. To him, this isn't just a game. It's about pride. It's about dignity. It's about proving he's not weak. He tries to summon every ounce of strength from what feels like trillions of struggling ancestors, but it's no use. Chin Chin notices his shaking arm and the pain in his face. Concerned, she stops the match, asking if he's okay. He admits defeat, defeated but not broken. He asks what she wants as her prize. Her answer is simple. She says she wants to try resting her head on his lap. Zhang Hao freezes, confused. Wait, did she just ask to lie down on his legs? Yes, that's exactly what she meant. As she gently lays her head on his lap, he watches her, stunned. Her cheeks are slightly red. He thinks to himself, if this is what she wants, then she can stay there as long as she likes. Zhang Hao is focused on working on his novel when his phone suddenly rings. It's Yan Yuan, the blonde girl from school, inviting him to the amusement park. She mentions that both Yua and Long Long will be joining as well. Just then, shouting from outside catches his attention. He looks out the window and sees Long Long with a girl. Later, when he comes down to meet them, the girl suddenly rushes into his arms. Confused, Zhang Hao wonders who this girl even is. The girl, visibly upset, asks why Long Long doesn't remember her. Long Long replies that it's been 4 years since they last met, so of course, he forgot. Even though Zhang Hao doesn't really feel like going to the amusement park, Long Long insists that Yua could use more friends. Reluctantly, Zhang Hao agrees. He tells them to wait while he changes his clothes. As they get ready, Long Long's sister snaps a photo of him and says he looks especially beautiful today. The group decides to start with the haunted house. Long Long already looks nervous, his body slightly trembling. Zhang Hao encourages him, saying he needs to be braver. After all, he's supposed to be a guy. They quickly pair off. Yua ends up with Zhang Hao, while the others, Long Long, Yan Yuan, and Long Long's sister, go together. As they walk through the dark, spooky halls, Zhang Hao turns to Yua and asks if she's scared. She stays silent. Trying to be supportive, he tells her that she can hold on to him if she's afraid. Without a word, she gently takes hold of his arm. As they continue walking, they pass by skeletons and spooky effects. Zhang Hao stays calm, even joking around, telling the skeletons he's in a rush. But after wandering for a while, he realizes something's wrong. Yua is no longer beside him. He starts searching and finally hears a faint voice coming from a nearby cabinet. Opening it, he finds Yua hiding inside, trembling and crying. He gently reassures her and says everything is fine now. She takes his hand, slowly calming down. Later, when they exit the haunted house, Long Long announces he's never stepping foot in there again. Yan Yuan teases Zhang Hao and Yua for being in there alone for so long. Zhang Hao flicks her forehead and tells her to stop overthinking things. Suddenly, Yua stumbles and collapses. Everyone panics, shouting that they need to call an ambulance. But Zhang Hao stays calm and tells them not to panic. He suggests they lay her down on a bench to rest. She likely fainted from fear. Long Long nervously suggests performing mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. Yan Yuan protests, clearly uncomfortable, and says they should call emergency services instead. Not wanting more chaos, Zhang Hao asks her to just buy water and food instead. He gently places Yua's head in his lap. Then he starts softly massaging her ears. She slowly wakes up, confused by what's happening. He explains that he was just trying to help her regain consciousness. She admits she was really scared. He tells her everything is all right now, and maybe haunted houses just aren't for her. She nods and closes her eyes again, falling back asleep. Zhang Hao watches her quietly and thinks she's the quietest and shyest girl he's met in this world. There's something different about her. After some time, the others return and ask if she's okay. She assures them she's feeling better now. Yan Yuan suggests they continue exploring the amusement park, but Zhang Hao shakes his head and says they should head home instead. Yue holds his hand and insists they go together. Yan Yuan and Long Long's sister clearly don't look happy about it. Later, they arrive at an enormous, luxurious villa where maids greet them at the door. The butler scolds Yue, saying she shouldn't have sneaked out so far without telling anyone. The group is shocked, realizing Yue is incredibly wealthy. The butler quickly adjusts his tone and apologizes for his rudeness, now realizing they're all friends of Yue. He offers them fine tea, mineral spring water, and pastries made by personal chefs. Everyone is impressed by how high-end everything is. Yue excuses herself to change, leaving the group still stunned by her wealth. Zhang Hao, however, doesn't seem that amazed. As they walk through the villa, the butler gently scolds Yue again, saying she went too far today and everyone was worried. Yue suddenly stops and asks if her father called. She also asks where her mother is. The butler answers honestly, neither parent has called. Her father is busy traveling and her mother is working. Yue wonders out loud why her father didn't call her. The butler assures her that her parents love her and will return with gifts, but she doesn't seem convinced. Later, she comes back wearing a new, elegant outfit. Everyone else is impressed, but Zhang Hao notices something different. She looks more glamorous than ever, but her eyes seem empty, like a doll without life. He asks her if something is wrong. She softly replies that her dad didn't call her again. Not knowing what else to say, Zhang Hao awkwardly offers to keep her company if she ever feels lonely. Suddenly, Yue lights up, grabs his hand and pulls him along. She brings him to a secret room filled with weapons. She enthusiastically shows off her favorite gun and offers it to him. Zhang Hao panics inside. He thinks that if he brought something like this home, he'd definitely be in trouble. Yue tells him this is her most treasured item. Yue adds that friends should be able to exchange gifts. Yue says she wants to be his friend forever. Zhang Hao awkwardly replies that they can still be friends, even without firearms. She wraps her arms around him in a tight hug, saying they must stay together, always. Zhang Hao blinks, thinking to himself, wow, she's moving really fast. The next day, the group leaves Yue's home. As they walk together, Long Long remarks that seeing her in all those outfits makes him want to go shopping for new clothes. Zhang Hao agrees. He needs a wardrobe refresh too. Long Long suggests they go shopping together tomorrow. And so they do. At the clothing store, Long Long is busy trying on cute outfits, clearly enjoying himself. Meanwhile, Zhang Hao struggles to find anything that fits the image he wants to present. After shopping, they decide to grab some food and head to a nearby fast food place, McDonald's. While eating, Zhang Hao starts feeling uneasy. It feels like someone is staring at him. In a corner of the restaurant, a girl is quietly snapping a photo of him. She posts it on social media, with a caption saying she wants to marry the handsome boy she just saw in McDonald's, adding heart-shaped eyes to the message. Long Long notices that Zhang Hao has suddenly pulled a hat over his head and asks why he's doing that. Zhang Hao replies that he's too handsome and needs to keep a low profile. Long Long jokes that if he's not careful, he's going to become an online celebrity. Zhang Hao laughs it off, thinking it's all exaggerated. But it doesn't take long before things spiral. His picture begins trending, top 5 on social media. Girls start commenting about his beauty, calling him a living fantasy. Some say he looks better than most celebrities. Others are determined to find out who he is. One girl stares at the screen and suddenly recognizes him. She remembers a post made by Long Long's sister, something about their visit to the amusement park. The day after his amusement park outing, Zhang Hao is back home and completely worn out from all the attention. His phone rings again. It's Long Long. Zhang Hao answers, clearly annoyed, wondering why he's calling again. Long Long explains that someone took a photo of Zhang Hao at McDonald's, and now it's being shared everywhere. Confused, Zhang Hao says it's just a picture. How bad could it be? But when he checks the app, he sees his name trending in the top 4. He groans, realizing he's gone viral. Still, he tries to calm himself. This kind of fame usually fades fast. In a few days, people will forget. To relax, he opens up a game streaming site, but he notices something has changed. The just chatting category, once filled with girls, is now full of boys. He switches to a battle royale stream. The game is the same, but the streamer is a girl now. That doesn't bother him, but the shift in dynamics is clear. He thinks about his age. Could minors stream live games in this world? Suddenly, his sister comes home. She notices the commotion and jokes that she didn't expect her little brother to become an internet celebrity. Feeling embarrassed, Zhang Hao says she found out too. She asks if he went out with Long Long. Before he can answer, she lunges at him in worry. She wants to know if he was harassed by strangers. He reassures her that he's fine and says he can handle himself. But she insists that he's still too naive. Women in this world are a lot more aggressive. She tells him that if anything ever happens, he has to tell her. He agrees. Then he notices something odd. Her phone wallpaper is a photo of him with Long Long. Zhang Hao is surprised and wonders who even took the picture. The next day, Zhang Hao tries to stay low-key, but groups of girls are looking for him. Long Long calls and warns him not to go to school. There's a crowd waiting at the front gate because of his rising fame. Zhang Hao sighs. No way he can go to school today. Instead, he asks his sister to contact the school for him. With time to kill, he decides to stream a game, League of Legends. He starts playing, controlling his favorite character. He performs some impressive moves, landing several kills and even scoring a pentakill. He smiles, looks like his gaming skills haven't faded in this world. Later that evening, after eating, he returns to his room to begin his live broadcast. His sister notices something odd but says nothing. Zhang Hao goes live. It's his first time streaming, and he's a little nervous. He greets viewers and jumps into a match. He plays Yasuo in the jungle, taking down the dragon early and defeating a Garen. On the other side, the opponent is a professional female gamer who's also streaming. She's surprised. How could a new player beat her? Her chat floods with messages. They're stunned that she lost. Some viewers accuse Zhang Hao of cheating or pretending to be a boy. Annoyed, the girl decides to get serious. Her gameplay speeds up, fingers flying across the keyboard. But even then, Zhang Hao defeats another enemy. One of her viewers points out that the person who beat her is also streaming. Zhang Hao chuckles, admitting the girl is good, but says he's better. As the match continues, Zhang Hao's chat starts exploding. People speculate he's not really a guy. Some even demand proof. Frustrated, Zhang Hao grabs his headset and speaks directly to the camera. He says he is a man and wants to know how everyone even found his stream. To prove it, he turns on his camera and shows his hands. His chat goes wild. Viewers start complimenting his hands. Some even get a little too obsessed. People beg for a face reveal, but he doesn't respond. Meanwhile, somewhere else, a girl in a high-rise office is watching his stream. She mutters to herself, realizing that if her company signs this guy, he could bring in serious money. After the stream, Zhang Hao ends the session and thanks everyone for watching. He says this was his first broadcast, and more will come soon. The next day, he talks with Long Long. He asks about school and if people are still talking about him. Long Long says it's better now. Fewer people are asking since he skipped yesterday. Zhang Hao is relieved. He thinks the hype might be fading, and maybe he can return to school. Long Long changes the topic and asks what Zhang Hao's been doing these past few days. Zhang Hao admits he's been writing his novel and streaming. Long Long is stunned. He asks when Zhang Hao started streaming. Zhang Hao quickly shushes him, not wanting anyone to overhear. He says no one else can know, and he hasn't signed a contract yet. Right then, Zhang Hao's phone buzzes with a notification. It's from the platform. It tells him his popularity has hit the threshold for signing a contract. Long Long is thrilled. He tells Zhang Hao this is a huge opportunity. With his looks, he'll be rich in no time. But Zhang Hao hesitates. He says he's still a student. The fame might be too much. Long Long suggests wearing a mask while streaming. All he needs to do is dance, and people will shower him with gifts. Zhang Hao says he's only doing gaming streams. Showing his face doesn't matter. As they walk, Zhang Hao suddenly notices someone following them. He tells Long Long he needs to go to the supermarket and parts ways. Then he spins around and calls out to the followers. A girl with pink hair steps out, her tone playful. She says she's lucky to run into such a good-looking internet star in her area. She calls herself his big sister and claims she'll take care of him. Zhang Hao looks confused. He asks who she even is. Someone behind the pink-haired girl speaks up. They say she's known as Sister Leu, and she controls this entire neighborhood. Zhang Hao shrugs. He says he doesn't know her and isn't interested. He tells her he needs to go. One of her underlings starts yelling. But then, surprisingly, Lei Yu punches him herself. She looks at Zhang Hao and tells him she likes his personality. She doesn't want to hurt him, she just wants him as her boyfriend. Zhang Hao doesn't look thrilled. He knows that for many guys in this world, having a rich girl take care of them would be a dream, and Lei Yu isn't unattractive. She's tall and strong. For a second he feels tempted, but then he remembers what the Blood Moon goddess told him. He needs to become a real man. He can't rely on anyone else. So he turns her down, saying he's not interested, and tries to walk past. That's when she suddenly pulls out a knife. She threatens that it would be a shame if something happened to his face. Zhang Hao doesn't flinch. He dares her to try. She seems even more curious now, excited by his boldness. But Zhang Hao doesn't hold back. He punches her in the face, follows it with an elbow to the chest, and knocks her down. She's shocked. This wasn't what she expected. He tries to kick him, but she blocks it. Then she throws a punch, but Zhang Hao dodges and grabs the knife. As they stare each other down, he calmly says he already called the police. Lei Yu smirks and says she won't cause more trouble. One of her gang members asks if she's really going to let him go. She responds that with handsome guys, you have to be patient. She turns to Zhang Hao and says something flirty, but Zhang Hao stops her. He tells her to stop following him and walks away. As she watches him leave, her assistant secretly records everything with a camera. Back in that same office, someone else is watching the footage with interest. At a media company, Miss Wei is told about Zhang Hao's rising popularity. She's not thrilled and says this should be a job for the scouts. But her assistant explains that the chairman personally requested her to look into it. Curious, Miss Wei studies Zhang Hao's photo. She notes he just looks like a regular high school student, but there's something about him. He really could be a star for their company. They decide to dig deeper. Back at school, Zhang Hao is playing basketball, though he keeps sneezing. Long Long tells him to take a break, but Zhang Hao says he's fine. He just wants to shoot a few more hoops. He lands a clean three-point shot. It proves once again that boys can definitely play basketball in this world. The girls cheer him on. Someone records the moment. That someone turns out to be a spy, paid by the pink-haired girl from the alley. Zhang Hao senses that something's off. Later after school, while heading home, he notices someone taking more photos. He looks toward a bush. Long Long asks what's wrong, but Zhang Hao brushes it off, saying he just has a weird feeling like someone been watching him all day. He remembers the background photo on his sister's phone and starts to wonder, could all this be connected to her? After everyone leaves, Zhang Hao approaches a girl hiding behind a tree. He demands to see her phone. She admits to taking one picture, but he finds a whole video of him playing basketball. She apologizes and says she's just following orders. Lei Yu's sister promised to pay 200 yuan for any photos of him. Zhang Hao, frustrated, deletes the media and hands her phone back. She quickly runs off. He realizes that the pink-haired girl is going to be a real problem, and he'll have to deal with her eventually. Later, he meets Long Long at the plaza. As they walk through the mall, they talk about Zhang Hao's contract with the streaming platform, but Zhang Hao also wants to buy a gift. Long Long teases him, asking who it's for. Zhang Hao gets flustered and says it's just for his sister. He explains that he signed a contract with a streaming site, but on his own terms. He won't show his face unless he wants to. He'll stream only what he enjoys, no forced offline events. And best of all, he won't need to act or dress provocatively. Long Long is amazed. He asks how Zhang Hao got such a good deal. Zhang Hao shrugs. He just asked, and they agreed. As they walk, they notice someone watching them from a distance. It's Lei Fang, the guy from school who once mocked Zhang Hao for eating too much. And from the look in his eyes, he's definitely planning something. Later in the mall's restroom, Lei Fang and his gang follow them. Lei Fang stands guard at the door, while his buddies head inside to stir up trouble. As Zhang Hao and Long Long exit, one of the guys moves toward him. He tries to bump into Zhang Hao on purpose, but Zhang Hao dodges him. Zhang Hao calmly asks what he's doing. The guy starts yelling, accusing Zhang Hao of not watching where he's going. Long Long jumps in, pointing out that it was clearly the other guy who caused the bump. The troublemaker grabs Long Long by the collar. Zhang Hao steps in. He says it's fine to bump into him, but grabbing his friend crosses the line. Tensions rise. Suddenly, the guy tries to spit at Zhang Hao. Zhang Hao dodges and yells, asking if the guy has lost his mind. Then he punches him square in the face. Another thug steps in to help, but Long Long handles him with surprising skill. He fights fiercely, and Zhang Hao watches, impressed. He's starting to look like a fighter from an action anime. After landing a few good punches, Long Long warns them, next time he'll break their legs. The first guy, holding his face, growls that he's calling his girlfriend to bring backup. Not long after, a voice shouts from outside the mall. A girl with a fierce presence, known as the Tremona Girl, steps forward and asks if this is the guy who caused trouble. The guy points at Zhang Hao, saying it's him. Their plan is to take pictures and post them to the school forum. The group surrounds Zhang Hao. The boy yells that this is the guy who hit them. Zhang Hao doesn't flinch. He tells them all to come at him again if they want. Long Long tries to explain that it was all their fault. They started it. Zhang Hao is tired of the nonsense. He tells them to leave because he's in a hurry. But the Tremona Girl starts acting strangely. She stares at him, captivated. Her boyfriend yells, asking why she's zoning out and demanding she do something. She says hitting someone first is wrong, but admits she's a bit unreasonable. She offers a deal. If Zhang Hao apologizes, they'll forget the whole thing. The boyfriend urges her to attack, but she doesn't move. He accuses her of falling for Zhang Hao. She doesn't deny it. Zhang Hao stays calm and asks them to move aside again. The boyfriend tries to block his way, but Zhang Hao warns him. Next time he interferes, he'll regret it. The Tremona Girl snaps at him, threatening to stuff him in a bag and throw him in the river if he doesn't shut up. Then she turns to Zhang Hao and asks for his phone number. Far away, a boy named Liu Fang is recording everything and uploading it to the school forum. At the same time, a black limousine pulls up nearby. Inside the car, Miss Wei watches everything unfold. Liu Fang keeps recording, hiding nearby. But Liu, the pink-haired girl, spots him. She storms over and demands to know why he's filming. Liu Fang tries to back away, but she grabs his phone. She snarls, accusing him of taking photos of her man. She even grabs him by the neck, and weirdly, Liu Fang seems to enjoy it. She smirks and tells him to come meet his brother-in-law. The Tremona Girl grows anxious, seeing Liu. She whispers nervously, "Why is she here?" Liu walks right up to Zhang Hao, acting sweet. She says it's only been 2 days, but she missed him so much. He ignores her and starts walking away. She kicks the guy in the back. Then she tells Zhang Hao she caught him taking photos. Zhang Hao is clearly irritated and asks what she wants. Then, surprisingly, Liu pulls out a bouquet of roses. She walks over and begs Zhang Hao to go on a date with her. She confesses her feelings, saying that if he agrees to be her boyfriend, he can do whatever he wants. But Zhang Hao thinks seriously. From a knife to roses. He tells her again he's not interested. She pleads, saying she's anxious and really wants him to take the flowers. He stares at the bouquet. He remembers their first meeting, the threat, the chase, and now this sudden romance. He tells her one more time he cannot be her boyfriend. He asks her to leave. Liu finally orders everyone else to clear the area. Then she approaches Long Long. She asks him softly, "Aren't you Zhang Hao's friend?" He nods. She leans in and warns Zhang Hao that if her friends lose control, she won't be able to hold them back. Zhang Hao listens closely, quickly understanding what's going on. She's using his friend to pressure him, and he can tell things are only going to get worse. Zhang Hao tries to calm things down with the pink-haired girl. He asks her to be reasonable and just say what she wants. She grins, grabs his cheeks, and tells him that since he asked so nicely, she'll take a step back. Her offer, join her at a bar tonight. He agrees and tells her to send the time and location. She promises she'll be waiting. Later, Long Long pulls him aside, worried. That woman looked like a gangster, and going to a bar with her sounds dangerous. He even suggests calling the police. But Zhang Hao explains that without proof, the police wouldn't be able to help. She'd be released and come back angrier. He plans to check her attitude tonight and reassures Long Long he knows kung fu and can handle himself. Long Long still panics, telling him not to die. Zhang Hao laughs it off, saying it's just a bar, not a death sentence. Just then, a woman in glasses appears and asks Zhang Hao to come with her. Annoyed by the constant interruptions, he gives in. A group of intimidating women escort him to an office. Inside, he meets a powerful-looking woman. Her name is Wei Nan, president of Fang Hong Media Group. She looks him over, walks closer, and says that with his look and style, he's exactly what the market needs. She offers him a contract, promising fame. Zhang Hao reads it quickly and hands it back. He says he's not interested in stardom, and he's in a rush to get home for dinner. Her assistant grabs him, saying he's just a student and shouldn't be so arrogant. Zhang Hao moves fast, twists her wrist, and throws her off. Wei Nan seems intrigued. She attacks, but he dodges. He tries to strike her, but she blocks him. She compliments his strength and says she's even more impressed now, but he says he doesn't want her support. She tells him not to worry, she won't push him yet. She'll give him time to reconsider. Then she tells her assistant to take him home. As he leaves, Zhang Hao thinks to himself, this woman is definitely going to be trouble. At home, Zhang Hao gets ready for the night's meeting at the bar. He takes a hidden recorder, a small knife, and some pepper spray. He sends Long Long a message. If he doesn't call by 8:30, Long Long should contact the police. Tonight, he plans to draw a clear boundary with Liu Xin. It starts raining as he walks to the bar. When he arrives, someone is already waiting for him and says their boss has been expecting him. He says fine, just take him there. Inside one of the private rooms, Liu Xin sits on a couch, smiling. He tells her he came as promised, but he doesn't want anything to do with her. He suggests they reset everything, act like strangers. He doesn't know her and she doesn't know him. That would be best for both. But she doesn't agree and moves closer. He warns her again. If she keeps this up, he's calling the police. She mocks him, saying it's not illegal to chase a guy. Then another girl speaks up, saying they should take photos and videos of him, and if he fights back, they'll post everything online. They think he's scared, but actually, he's relieved. His recorder is already running. Liu Xin asks what's going on. Suddenly, the other girl pulls out a knife. Zhang Hao jokes about it, so now refusing her means getting attacked. Without hesitation, he sprays her in the face and rushes forward. Then he takes her knife and holds her hostage. Liu Xin watches, impressed by his boldness. He warns them not to try anything unless they want blood on the floor. He tells them to call the police if they want. Then he lets the girl go and walks out. Later, Liu Xin gets a message. Someone says Zhang Hao recorded everything and took photos. If she keeps provoking him, he'll go to the police. She screams in frustration, realizing why he was so calm earlier. Meanwhile, someone secretly watches Zhang Hao from a distance and reports to Miss Wei that he's fine. The next day at school, Zhang Hao reflects on what happened the night before. He hopes the warning was enough to keep Liu Xin away. Then he overhears two girls talking. They mention that someone from the Fang Hong group took over Liu Xin's territory. That catches his attention. Wait, Fang Hong again. He suddenly remembers Miss Wei is with that company. Now he wonders what's her connection to Liu Xin. After school, he gets home and sees his sister preparing dinner. The food smells great. He notices they're alone. He asks where their dad and aunt are. She says they're working late. His mind drifts. Alone at home with his sister, she flicks his forehead, snapping him out of it. He quickly says he's fine and sits down for dinner. In his head, he scolds himself. That's your sister, don't even go there. Even if there's no blood relation, it's wrong. After dinner, she tells him to relax and let her clean up. She insists he go upstairs and start his stream. He offers to help. She gently holds his hands. Then she says she'll never let his beautiful hands touch dirty dishes. He sighs and goes back to his room. He starts his stream, telling viewers it'll be a 2-hour ranked session. 2 hours later, his sister walks into the room. She asks if he's tired from streaming. Then she pats the bed and tells him to come over so she can give him a massage. He tells her to rest since she did all the housework. She says it's okay and is just happy he cares about her. He agrees they're family. But that word seems to bother her. She remembers a moment from their past when he told her not to be scared and promised they'd always be family. Suddenly, she starts crying. He asks what's wrong. She says she's just really happy right now. Zhang Hao thinks about everything. At least in this world, his father doesn't have to be lonely. Here, there's a real family. He promises himself he'll protect this family and keep them happy. His sister wipes her tears and apologizes for crying. He smiles and thanks her for treating him like real family. But something in her eyes suggests she might be thinking something else entirely. Later, both are lying in bed. He asks if they should really sleep together tonight. She says yes, it's the perfect time with their parents away. She says she's always wanted to talk with him like this. He's curious and asks what she wants to talk about. She gets closer and asks what kind of girls he likes. He stutters, maybe someone gentle and kind. She follows up, is there anyone like that at school? He thinks of Yua but shakes his head. She tells him he's still too young and should focus on school. But she also admits she worries about him, especially since he's so good-looking. As they talk, he falls asleep. Later, he wakes up and wonders if it was all a dream. He checks her room, but she's not there. Looking around, he finds a book on her shelf. It's a story about a sister who really likes her brother. Could it be? She even cried when he said they were family. Suddenly, his head starts to hurt. A memory flashes. There was a girl with glasses, mocking some boys and teasing him. The next day, Zhang Hao starts his stream, but ends it earlier than usual. His viewers notice and ask if something's wrong. He doesn't respond. His mind is elsewhere, still stuck on that memory and how it makes him feel down. He also notices his stream isn't growing. He needs to find a way to get more viewers. He really needs the money. He receives a message from the platform. His popularity is low, and they suggest ways to improve it. The next day, he gets a follow-up message with a list of plans made by a female admin. He reads the options and feels disgusted. Option 1, a hot dance wearing tight shorts. Option 2, sexy cosplay. Option 3, sweaty workout content. He groans. He knew it would come to this. Later, he and Long Long meet at a coffee shop to talk about it. Long Long asks why the platform admin wants to see him. Zhang Hao says he has no idea, but they head in. They're greeted by a woman named Song Qing. She manages streamers and tells him to call her Miss Song. Zhang Hao introduces Long Long and says he's seen the suggestions, but isn't doing any of them. She smiles and says she watches all his streams. She didn't expect him to agree to the first two, but suggests he seriously think about the third. He asks why. Suddenly she stands and touches his chest, saying he has good structure, but it needs toning. He's awkward, but she keeps going. She says he could stream workouts with a mask, no need to show his face or skin, just his form and strength. Long Long thinks it sounds fair. Zhang Hao agrees. He decides to stream workouts for half an hour, 2 or 3 times a week, while keeping his identity hidden. Back home, his father is shocked. He hears the news and yells, streaming workouts online. Absolutely not. Zhang Hao's father grabs him by the neck, clearly upset. He accuses Zhang Hao of planning to stream fitness workouts just to attract girls. Zhang Hao tries to calm him down. He says it's just normal exercise, nothing revealing. His dad argues that Zhang Hao always talks about how good-looking he is and how dangerous that can be, so why take the risk? His sister steps in, telling their dad to relax. She says Zhang Hao's plan sounds reasonable, just let him try once. If something feels off, they can stop him immediately. The father agrees, though reluctantly. He mutters that his niece is spoiling the boy too much. Zhang Hao thanks his sister, but she warns him. She'll be monitoring the chat. If it gets out of control, she's ending the stream herself. Later in his room, Zhang Hao starts his very first fitness stream. As he begins running, comments flood the chat. Viewers call him hot, ask to see his feet, and cheer for his looks. He notices how many people are watching. It's clear fitness content is working. Some even offer huge donations if he keeps running for 15 minutes. 30 minutes later, the chat is still amazed. He's still going strong. But his sister, watching from nearby, grows uneasy. She feels jealous seeing so many eyes on him. She thinks to herself, if I stay the way I was before, he'll slowly slip away from me. When the stream ends, Zhang Hao tells viewers he's heading for a shower. His sister comes over, clearly bothered. She asks him to stream less, it's affecting her. He reassures her, saying this much is okay for now. Then out of nowhere, she slaps him. He's shocked, was that real or just his imagination? That night, she enters his room and walks closer. She softly says that if they hadn't been separated back then. Zhang Hao suddenly remembers something from long ago. A memory appears. A girl once asked if he had anyone to play with. When he said no, she dragged him to play and fought some kids along the way. He had told her she was scary, but she had grabbed his shirt and promised they'd always be together. He wakes up with a headache and dismisses the dream. It doesn't matter right now, he needs to get ready for school. But then he hears a voice. His sister is lying next to him in bed. She smiles and says good morning. Confused, Zhang Hao asks why she's there. She explains she just came to check on him and accidentally fell asleep next to him. He awkwardly says he'll take a shower and gets up. She tells him not to rush. She plans to buy a new car and drive him to school. Later, on the way to school, he thinks about the Muay Thai club. Suddenly, Yua surprises him from behind. She's been training hard. He asks when she learned to fight. She explains that her grandma was a soldier and trained her since childhood. Inspired, he asks if she can teach him too. She agrees and leads him to a warehouse near the playground. They get into position, preparing to spar. Suddenly, she grabs him and takes him down to the floor. She tells him he lost. Zhang Hao, still held by Yua, surrenders. She smiles and demands a reward. Then she unexpectedly licks his ear. He freezes, confused and embarrassed. He asks her why she did that and whether someone taught her. Yua replies that she learned it from videos Yun Yuan sent her. Shocked, Zhang Hao asks to see those videos. She hands him her phone. The content shows couples doing intimate things. He's horrified. It's not appropriate, especially not for school-age kids. Yua seems confused. She asks if she did something wrong. He sighs and tells her no, but this isn't how boys and girls should behave with everyone. He says if she's ever unsure about this stuff, just ask him instead of trusting Yuan's advice. She then asks if it's okay for them to communicate like this. He tells her gently not to kiss him randomly and definitely not to do that to others. They agree to go back to class. As they walk, she wonders aloud, is that kind of touching only for couples? He hesitates and asks if she even knows what that means. She admits she doesn't. He says they'll talk more once she understands. Later, he's walking with Long. Yua appears again, asking if they can now communicate. He says no, not right now. She keeps asking and he keeps dodging. Elsewhere, a boy watches from the window, annoyed, muttering that Zhang Hao is the worst. Just then, a woman from Mr. Wei's office arrives and approaches Zhang Hao. She says she's finally found him. The office lady from Fang Hong apologizes for last time and says Mr. Wei wants to see him again. Zhang Hao shakes his head. He tells her he already said he's not interested and doesn't want to waste anyone's time. She explains nervously that she's just following orders and can't return without an answer. He groans internally. Here we go again. She asks if he can talk to Miss Wei if she calls her on her phone. Reluctantly, he agrees. When Mr. Wei answers, Zhang Hao tells her nothing has changed. He still doesn't want anything to do with her. Ms. Wei calmly replies. She says she understands that he hates feeling weak and wants to be strong. She knows what he truly wants, and she's willing to give him more time to decide. She hangs up. Zhang Hao thinks, how does she know me so well? He's still not sure what to do, but one thing is certain. He'll need to see her again. Back at her office, Mr. Wei reflects. She knows now. He doesn't want to be seen as weak. The next morning, Zhang Hao arrives at school in a luxury car. His sister had driven him there and even fixed his hair before he got out. As he walks through the school gates, everyone's staring and whispering. They're glued to their phones, discussing something new. There's a rumor floating around that Zhang Hao is some kind of male escort or influencer for hire. Long notices the strange looks and asks if Zhang Hao senses something weird. Zhang Hao sighs, yeah, this started yesterday, but he still doesn't know why. Then a green-haired student walks up and mocks him. He asks if Zhang Hao is so busy at night that he can't finish his homework. He accuses him of skipping college to live off his looks. Zhang Hao hands over his assignment and calmly replies, if you're jealous of my face, just admit it. The guy laughs, saying he'd never want to be someone nurtured by older girls. Zhang Hao blinks, nurtured. The boy explains that people think Zhang Hao been showing up at school escorted by women in fancy cars. It's all over the school forum. Long gets angry, saying it's just rumors. But then he checks his phone. There's a post, photos of Zhang Hao arriving in a supercar with his sister. Long stares in disbelief. Everyone thinks Zhang Hao is being sponsored by women. Just then, a teacher enters the room and asks Zhang Hao to come with her. In the office, she questions him about the rumors on the forum. Zhang Hao says he just found out. She warns him that this kind of situation reflects poorly on the school. But he stops her. He tells her that the woman in the photo is his sister. If she wants proof, he'll call her right now. He also insists that the post is fake and asks the school to investigate properly. Soon after, his sister arrives. Her presence causes quite a scene among the students. They hear her conversation with the teacher and realize she really is his sister. The scandal is officially dismissed. She apologizes for causing trouble, but Zhang Hao tells her not to worry and to go back to work. Back in the classroom, Yuan Wang speaks up. She says she never believed the rumors. She and Long even started looking into it and found out who really spread them, Liu Fang and his group. Zhang Hao asks where Long is now. Yuan Wang looks worried. She says he went to investigate on his own, but he hasn't come back. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and turn on the bell for more awesome stories.